There's plenty of reasons to still believe in this Philadelphia Eagles football team while still being critical, while being honest still about how they could be even better. We're going to talk about that. We're going to continue talking Kevin Patullo. We're going to continue talking A.J. Brown. Phillies, get a little glimpse of one of their opponents last night, the LA Dodgers, Sixers, Union, whatever else you want to talk about. Training the AM, we are live. 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network. We are live, YouTube and Twitter, every single morning at 8 o'clock, setting the trends for what sports talk should be in Philadelphia. So please do me that favor, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, hit that share button, share this out on a social media platform, and, of course, hit that subscribe button. Would greatly, greatly appreciate it on the YouTube page. The only place where you can actually vote on the daily YouTube poll question of the day. If you're watching on Twitter, great. Love to chat with you, but head over to YouTube to vote on the poll. Today's poll question: do you honestly believe that the 25 Eagles, as they are, is good enough to win another Super Bowl? Yes, no, barely. So we're going to go through that today, but like, share, subscribe. We are inching closer and closer to 1,000 subscribers. Only way I do that is with your guys' help, so keep helping me grow this channel. I would greatly appreciate that. Got to find a place for my phone today. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel. We're talking Eagles, of course, today. Why wouldn't we be talking Eagles? There's still so much conversation going on throughout this city between the A.J. Brown situation, the Kevin Patullo situation, just the team's performance in general. We heard from Kevin Patullo and Vic Fangio yesterday. Lots of great nuggets to get into there. The Phillies are now, I think they had their little scrimmage tonight. Almost 30,000 fans will be down at the bank watching the Phillies scrimmage. The Dodgers whooped up on the Reds pretty easily, and I'm a little concerned about that Dodgers matchup next week, but we'll get into that as well. Union, if you want to talk Union, chance to win the Supporters Cup, all on the table today. But let's get right to the comments because comments are already rolling in from Duck and Bruce. But guys, like, share, subscribe. Good morning, Duck. Yes, with the talent currently, even with the injuries, can get to and win a Super Bowl. How do we know the team is more talented than 17? Coaches will have to step up. And that's the key thing at the end there. Coaches will need to step up. The talent is there. More than enough talent is there on this Eagles team. It's up to the coaches to push these guys over the finish line. Now, do we have confidence in these coaches to do that? Well, we have confidence in one for sure. The other, we're still trying to figure that out. Jeff Stoutland has to really work with the talent they currently have because right tackle, center, and left guard really need to get healthy before the Week 9 bye. Unc Vic will have the nephews ready. Patullo, I don't think enough goes into, we are on this show pretty regularly this week talking about it, but I don't hear any other channels. I don't hear anybody on the radio or online really discussing the offensive line struggles. Whether it's injury reasons or not, the offensive line has not been good. We know Lane Johnson's numbers. We know how he has struggled. Or Landon Dickerson has struggled. We know the numbers. We know Lane Johnson has now missed half of 2 football games. We know these things, right? Why isn't anybody else talking about the answer? We're just assuming Stout will get them, but Stout is more, like someone said, instead of Stoutland U, it's like the Rye University. It's more like University of Samoa, American Samoa. It's not Stoutland U right now. Patullo needs to open up the playbook and put some wrinkles into the plays he currently loves to call. If we keep going 3 and out this often, he will tank both the O-line and the defense. There definitely needs to be more sustained, longer drives. There just needs to be more effective offense. Plain and simple, period. Right? It just needs to be more efficient, the offense. And that is on Kevin Patullo. Figuring it out. This isn't his first year in football. It's his first year playing play calling, but it is not his first year in football. So he needs to be better. I feel you are right, and we have the top talent in the NFL compared to the other teams. It's just execution. And even with poor execution, Bruce, and good morning to you, we're still 4-0 against teams that are a combined 7-2-1 against everyone else. We've faced 4 damn good football teams. They're 0-4 against us, our opponents, but 7-2-1 against everybody else. I feel we lost a lot of good players in the offseason and with injuries, but we also have new players who do good, and we are always getting better. Well, we need to continue to get better. 100%. Have to. Did you see the Yankees got the bases loaded in the 9th against Chapman, and he struck out 3 in a row? I did not. I saw the final scores, but that's about it. I watched a little bit of the Tigers game early in the day, and I watched a little bit of the early part of the Red Sox-Yankees game, but that was all the baseball I watched yesterday. Big Scuba fan, so I had to watch him pitch for the Tigers yesterday. Look, not worried about the American League just yet. I'm just worried about the Dodgers at this point, Bruce, and I am worried about the Dodgers. It's going to be a big, big test. I'm assuming they're going to win that series against the Reds, and it's going to be a huge, huge test for the Phillies come starting Saturday. I feel the Dodgers are good, but I feel we could beat them as long as Rob doesn't mess everything up. Well, yeah. It's all about coaching in Philadelphia, right? When we talk Eagles, it's about coaching. When it's about the Phillies, it's about coaching. Our teams are supremely talented on actual individuals on the team. It's just bringing it all together, Bruce. Good morning, Adam. How you doing? Go Birds. Absolutely. Yeah, we could beat the Dodgers. I'm just happy that we don't have to see Citi Field. Honestly, at this point, I probably would rather see Citi Field after what I saw from the Dodgers last night. I feel you are right as we don't win. We don't win a lot of games there. Absolutely. Look, it's an exciting time. As Rick would say in the chat, it is an exciting time to be in Philadelphia sports right now. We do have a 4-0 football team. We got a baseball team that's about to host an NLDS series. The Sixers are on the horizon. The Flyers are getting underway. The Union about to win the Supporter Shield potentially this weekend. It's an exciting time. It's fall. It's October 1st. What a time. But we still got to execute. We still got to do better. And I think today's show title, The Good, the Bad, and the Reason to Believe, it's okay to support this team and still be critical. It's okay to say this team can still win a Super Bowl and be critical. It's okay to be critical in the right ways, right? And Kevin Patullo is the guy that we need to be most critical of figuring out he's not going anywhere. So how do we figure out? How does Kevin Patullo figure it out? How does Nick Sirianni help him figure it out? I think that should be the biggest question this week. How does Nick Sirianni make Kevin Patullo's job easier or give him the confidence? I feel our schedule is going to get much easier soon, so I feel we could be 9-0. We very well could be 9-0. 8-0, 9-0. Will we? I think we're looking ahead of the Broncos, who are a damn good team that have a great pass rush, a really strong offense. Don't look ahead of the Broncos, okay? Do you think AJ's action is his way of telling the team that he could help with the offense as opposed to being a diva? I think a lot of nonsense is made of AJ and his comments. AJ did this last year. We won a Super Bowl. AJ's done this before. Every elite wide receiver is a diva. But he is telling the team that I could do more to help with the offense. Maybe A.J. Brown can help, sit in on some of these meetings that the coaches and Jalen Hurts sit in. Maybe he wants to voice his opinions a little bit more. I don't think A.J. Brown is sitting there saying, I want the ball, give me the ball instead of everybody else. I think A.J.'s frustrations come from the fact of just a stale offense. If this offense was moving the ball more efficiently, not having 3-and-outs, Marshawn, if Devontae Smith was eating, Dallas Goedert was eating, Saquon Barkley was eating, Jalen Hurts wasn't taking massive hits nonstop. I think A.J. Brown would be fine. I think if the offense was executing plays that were properly called, if we weren't running stupid bubble screens. You're running bubble screens to John Mechie and having A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith block for him. No offense to John Mechie. But if you're running those bubble screens to A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, they might be more effective. And A.J. Brown wouldn't be as critical, I don't think. Look, this is just the way it is. And I talked about this yesterday. I think we have to understand the new age of people. We're old heads. Well, at least I am. I don't know about you, Marshawn. We dealt with our frustrations differently. The current world deals with their frustrations through social media. They vent through social media. They post cryptic tweets. They post images of quotes. This is just the way the athlete deals with their frustrations. It's a way of venting. I vent on social media all the time. I get criticized on social media as well, but that's another whole subject. I think just A.J. Brown is frustrated with the overall product of the offense. Not that he is not touching the ball and having 200-yard games. I think this offense was humming along. He wouldn't care whether it was him or somebody else eating. I feel the main thing Nick can do is to tell Patullo that he has to make A.J. Brown more involved in the offense. But the problem is, if you force the ball to A.J. Brown like you did in the third and fourth quarter, and Jalen Hurts is forced to throw the ball in the double coverage over and over again, you've got to get him involved, Bruce, but you got to get him involved effectively. You got to get him involved without forcing it. Yes, Lamar Jackson, it's not breaking news. It was breaking news like 24 hours ago, maybe even more than that. Yes, Lamar Jackson's going to miss 2-3 weeks at least. Jackson Dart's not a threat to anybody but Justin Herbert. AJ is being a little bit of a diva, but that is elite wide receivers. It's a vent and nothing more. He doesn't want to go anywhere because the success here would not. Yeah, AJ Brown would much rather be frustrated in Philly, winning Super Bowls, getting paid, than going to a 8-9 team. AJ Brown wants nothing to do with going to 8-9 teams. All right, just to put up stats. That's not what he wants to do. He wants to be here. Him and Jalen Hurts might not be best friends anymore, but they have a respect. Now, I don't know who, everyone said, or Jeff McClain reported it, and others have backed it up, that he was directly tweeting that at somebody specific. And I don't know if that's necessarily true. Okay? And if it is, it was not at Nick or was not at, Jalen. Now, Kevin Patullo talked yesterday. It's like, oh, me and AJ have this great relationship. We talk all the time. AJ Brown and Kevin Patullo, it's not a new relationship. Kevin Patullo's been here the entire time Nick Sirianni has, which means he's been here the entire time that Nick Sirianni has. All right? These guys have been together for a long time. It's just the first time Patullo's calling the plays. So I don't know who he'd be directing a tweet like that at. I don't know. The Giants' turf is a threat to literally everybody. Breaking news, Phil is in denial over Dart. Cool. Maybe I am. Maybe Jackson Dart's the next coming to Tom Brady, but highly doubt that. Ridley Scott is a threat to great films. You never miss a moment, right? Never miss a moment. Yeah, he's a threat on history. A little column B. What? Anyway. You got a lot of funny comments, you guys. You're funny like clowns, Vote on your poll question. Do you honestly believe the Eagles are good enough to win another Super Bowl as they are? Yes, no, barely. Yes is obviously dominating. No at 11% and barely at 11%. Okay? The Eagles, I think, the spread is now down to 3.5. Then it's come down a lot, the spread. Look, we can talk Broncos. I don't have a lot of details on the Broncos yet, but the Broncos are a dangerous team this week. The poll question on the YouTube page under community, who wins? Bonus points for comment and scores. You guys see that up there all the time. It's 100% Eagles vote so far, which is crazy. But the Broncos put up over 500 yards of offense. The thing that concerns me the most, Adam, with the Broncos matchup is not the Broncos offense, though. Because Vic Fangio's got these guys, and we're going to talk what Vic Fangio had to say yesterday in a little bit. The Broncos front 5-6 guys. They lead the NFL in sacks. They lead the NFL in quarterback hits. They lead the NFL in pressure rate. They've got 15 sacks in 4 games. We got 5. 41 quarterback hits. The Broncos have a 47.1% pressure rate. Oh, and by the way, they also have former Eagle Alex Singleton as their starting linebacker and leading tackler. That would be my biggest concern, because we go back to what is my biggest concern right now. It's not the play calling. It's the execution from the offensive line. Because the offensive line is banged up. The offensive line is hurt. That is the biggest concern of this team right now. When is Jaden Daniels coming back? I mean, I don't really care about the Washington Commanders till week 16. They're 2-2. But I would expect him to be back soon. I think he tried to play last week, so this week or next week he'll be back. I'm more concerned at offensive play calling than anything else. The offensive play calling is not good, Duck. But it's also not being executed well. Now, whether it's they're not executing it well because they're not performing well, or they're not executing it well because a key thing about play calling is that players need to believe in the play calling. Maybe the execution comes because they hear Jalen call the play in the huddle, knowing it's coming from Kevin Patullo, and they don't believe it's going to work. So if you don't believe, you can't execute. I don't know if that makes sense, but I think in my mind, it makes really good sense that they need to believe in the execution, right? Or to execute. They need to know that whatever comes out of Jalen Hurts' mouth can work, will work, but they don't. And maybe that's part of the problem right there. Maybe. I'm not sure. I give Broncos a 6 out of 10 and Eagles 9 out of 10. Look, the Broncos might only be 2-2, but the Broncos, Bo Nix, they're a quality opponent. They've got 3 solid wide receivers. They got a solid running game, good young quarterback. If the Eagles take them lightly, the Eagles are going to get blown out. We need to Patullo help because we need to get Patullo help because he is showing nothing. Is get through to him that change is needed based on the pressers. His press conferences, it's. Did you ever see the Seinfeld episode about the move, the sex move, and Elaine's making fun of the new move? It just goes all over the place and it doesn't really get you anywhere. And then George is like, "Oh, that was my move," and she's like, no surprise there." That's what Kevin Patullo at a press conference is. Like, I just read a quote before the show of him talking about the play calling from John Clark's Twitter page. And it was literally like, it took me 2 minutes to read the quote. And I literally learned nothing in the quote. He just like dances all around the questions. Word salads, basically, without the dressing, though. His pressers are the thing that scare me the most because he doesn't sound like a guy that's ready to be a Super Bowl champion offensive coordinator or play caller. He looks like he's still getting on-the-job training. And it's okay to have on-the-job training if you're a team that doesn't have aspirations and expectations of being a Super Bowl champion. If you're the Patriots right now, or the Titans right now, or the Giants right now, yeah, you can learn on the job and grow with the team. This team's not trying to grow. This team's trying to win a Super Bowl. Eagles' problem is the offensive play design once they get that figured out. The play design is part of it as well. How many times, Anthony, and good morning to you, have we seen route combinations of receivers running into each other or being within 2 yards of each other? That's not good. That's poor design as much as execution and calls. Have anyone been watching the spreads on these games this week? They're either stupidly small or I have not. I normally get started prepping for the lines tomorrow for tomorrow's show, but I have not taken a look at the lines. I don't even know who's playing each other this week. The offense better get it going or it will be a long day for them with the Broncos defense. Adam, 100%. My biggest fear this game is how do we protect Jalen Hurts, who's already, I still swear, I've watched that play where he slid, got hit, they picked up the flag. I've watched it 100 times, Adam. I still 100% believe he got concussed on that play. 100%. Right? Can't have him taking hits. 41 quarterback hits in 4 games. That's over 10 a game. All right? 10.1 quarterback hits a game. Jalen Hurts takes 10.1 quarterback hits. We are not winning this football game. Why do we keep running Barkley down the middle if you know it's not going to work? Well, because it worked last year, and that's the thing. Look, I got lots of numbers on Saquon. 3.8 yards per carry, or 3.8 yards per carry before contact last year. Less than 1 yard per contact this year before contact. Last year, they ran up the middle the 6 most times in the NFL, Duck. They averaged 4.06 yards per carry up the middle last year. This year, they're still the 6th most runs up the middle, but they're averaging 2.803. Half the amount of yards up the middle as last year. Why? Because the blocking isn't there. Broncos pass rushers seem mid, but they're getting the job done. Because they're executing on defense. Patullo is standing there just smiling when he's failing at his job. He's like, I forget which question it was yesterday. I didn't even want to bring it up. But you saying him smiling made me think of it right now, right? He does look like an arrogant POS. He was asked a question yesterday. He's like, it's kind of funny, No, it's not funny. When he said it's kind of funny when asked about something about an execution and X's and O's. No, it's not funny. Funny how? Funny like a clown? Funny like I amuse you? No, it's not funny, Kevin. KP thinking things are funny just proves his immaturity at the job. Patrick Surtain and Nick Bonita are only good players on D. Well, Alex, look, whether they're good or not, Mad Chatter, the execution is there. You can have a lot of good players and no great players, and as long as you execute well, the team defense is right. It's fine. But we have more in Steichen playbooks. Why not just go back and take the best plays from them? Watch the film, see what worked. I get it. But again, you still need blocking, right? You still need to execute your blocking schemes. You still got to execute running the routes correctly. You can't take plays off. A.J. Brown does take some plays off. A little sidebar. The team is not executing. Kevin Patullo's play calling is terrible, but not enough Duck blame goes on the players executing, whether they're hurt or not. If you go out there, hurt or not, you can't say, well, I can't execute because I'm hurt. Well, if you can't execute because you're hurt, then don't play. Right? You want to tough it out, be the tough guy? Well, you got to execute. Multiple times this year, they have had 2 guys running the same route in the same spot. And it's not good. Again, as me and Duck have said on this show in the chat many a times, Anthony, when I can call out what's wrong and when I can call out what the play is before the play, it's bad. Why? Because I'm not an X's and O's guy. I'm a fan. I'm an over-the-top fan that just likes to express my opinion. I don't know play calls and play concepts and play designs. I just know what my eye tells me. And when my eyes tell me what's going to happen, it's bad. 4 games, and they can't figure it out and adjust. This is an offense play calling failure. Okay? It is still their preseason. Well, it was their preseason, right? You've got hurt guys on the offensive line, and you got an offense that doesn't believe in the play caller. It's a recipe right now for disaster. Juergens is straight whiffing on blocks. Some of it's execution, some of it's injuries. But if you're going to play injured, you still got to execute. Juergens has not been good. I always had concerns, Nooms, about Juergens as a center. When Kelce retired, I remember on this show, I don't remember what network that was, but it wasn't on my own network. But anyway, which we're at 716 subscribers to start the day. So guys, subscribe, like, do all that stuff. I brought up my concerns when Kelce officially retired about Juergens going to center. Juergens was a solid right guard. And I wanted them to draft a center. I forget who was the top center of that draft. Was that Jackson Powers? I don't remember. And leave Juergens at guard because I thought he'd be better suited long-term at guard. Drew Sander hurt and a bust. Who? I don't even know who that is. Draft pick Johnny Walker on I. Okay. We're just getting a random notes in the chat. I got racked on Reddit when I called out Patullo on his arrogance. Well, that's your problem. You're on Reddit. You called it racked. Let's show the hate that I get, right? Let's show what I get hated on online. All right, look at this comment. Let's go to this. I want to make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Don't quit your day job. Not only it's your information kind of suspect, but you don't have the voice for it. All right, well, be blazing. You missed an opportunity to say I don't have a face for TV either. You could have had the trifecta of insults, okay? You might not agree with my opinions, but you really got to hate me to tell me not to quit my day job. You think you got racked, duck, on Reddit? I get racked on my own damn YouTube page. And you all should go find B Blazin' and call B Blazin' out for being a nitwit on my channel comments. But I still was polite and responded nicely because why wouldn't I? I'm just a nice guy. Again, like I said, I've been banned on Reddit too many times. I don't even care anymore. And it's not just Jurgens. It's a lot of different people making semi-infrequent mistakes. Yeah. The entire offensive line is not performing at their standard. And Jeff Stoutland is going to get enough criticism, okay? Or is not getting enough criticism. The defense is great at stopping the run on the outside, but neat work on the inside run. 100%. And Vic Fangio is not out of the realm of criticism. The defense has not been perfect this year. They definitely have not been disciplined enough. There's 6 teams on each side, okay, the AL and the NL. When the players say it's execution, then that's them saying it's on them. Have the players said it's on execution? Because I think some of them have. Phillies are a top 3 team. Well, they're the favorite betting-wise to win the World Series. Denver plays, man, at the 5th highest rate. I think we will see picks and crossing routes, and guys will get open this week. The only question is, will the O-line hold up? Fair comment, Anthony. Very fair comment, right? We'll see the routes run. The offensive line, again, 41 quarterback hits in 4 games for the Broncos. That's a lot of hits on Jalen Hurts incoming. A guy that's already beat up and sore. Jalen Hurts ain't going to make it to the Super Bowl at the rate he's getting hit on a regular basis. In my opinion, Jared Leto tries too hard. What? You care way too much about movies on a sports show. Any movie Leto is in stinks. I couldn't even tell you a movie Leto's ever been in. Man, I am so excited for Tron. Haven't seen the last Tron. I don't know if I've seen any of the Trons, honestly. They're pulling O-line on plays that you can see are well blocked, but they're getting shed that split second earlier. Continuity takes a lot of perfection. I haven't seen enough pulling, period. Pulling guards is something that they've always done well to help open up those blocking or running lanes for Saquon. They're just not doing it. You got to understand something. Saquon's not the first running back to have success behind this O-line. Swift and Sanders did too, and both got big paydays because they're running behind this offensive line. So everybody's run successfully in this offensive line. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't work anymore? To me, that's on injuries and execution. Who knows? Phil, look at you. When did you learn how to put up tweets? It's not a tweet. It's a YouTube comment. Yes, he is. Well, look at Phil pulling up. Look, I know how to do a lot more than you think, right? A lot more than you think. Be blazing, take a dirt nap. Yeah, he needs to go meet out in the sticks, get a baseball bat to the knees and buried alive. You guys are just all chit-chatting calmly in the chat. The wild card round is best of 3. Jarrett Law, Jude Law, whatever. Who cares? I find it funny that ever since Suicide Squad, Leto was the Joker. That's right. Yeah. He hasn't done anything good. And Suicide Squad wasn't good either. Leto is the Miles Sanders of actors. Yeah. Opposing defenders are plugging and shrugging that much harder. Patullo is by no means blameless, but the tape really doesn't lie. Exactly. Look, Kevin Patullo absolutely has blame to go around, right? But you still got to execute. Now, how much of the lack of execution is because they don't believe in the plays being called? I think there's something to that theory. But yes, the offensive linemen need to block better. The wide receivers got to run tighter routes. Saquon's got to hit the hole quicker. There have been holes, and Saquon hesitates to touch before he gets to the holes now, unlike just shooting right through it last year. So there's blame all around to go. Of course I got haters. I got lots of haters. There's a lot of people that don't like me. Learn how to put up mean tweets for content. I always do, man. I don't get that many. Pine Barrens, yeah. Except the guy was an interior decorator, right? No Kenny G of actors. What? Anyway, guys, the whole team has blame except the special teams. They've been good. I disagree. Even special teams has not been perfect. Yeah, we've got 2 special teams touchdowns, 3 blocks on special teams in 4 games. Great. Kick return has not been good. It's a little better this past week. Tackling and staying in your lanes on kick and punt coverage. We've given up quite a few big returns at them. The punter's great, the kicker's great, and the blocks are nice. But coverage teams have not been good regularly enough, in my opinion, Adam. Not at all. You can't run down the middle, then you have to change that. If you know they are going to stack the box, then you go around the box. I agree. I don't disagree with that at all, Duck. And that's on Kevin Patullo. It's not working. They don't believe it. They're not executing it, whatever it is. So stop running it, right? Until you figure it out. I know it ain't his strength, but A.J. Brown and the deep in is like peanut butter and jelly. Look, A.J. Brown can run any route you call for. He's got to want to run the route, though. Look, I saw somebody on social media bring it up, or on a podcast yesterday bring it up. A.J. Brown takes plays off. When A.J. Brown's frustrated, he takes plays off. A.J. Brown's got to be better. There are a couple of routes last week that A.J. Brown didn't run at 100%. That's not good. You grump, get more mean tweets. What? Why? Jalen, not Jalen's strength, that is the deep in. Jalen has no weaknesses. He killed 16 Czechoslovakians. I love it. Such a awful, I think it's an overrated episode. Everybody loves Pine Barrens on The Sopranos. I think it's overrated, but it gave us some of the greatest quotes in the history of that great TV show. Chrissy eating the mustard packet. I mean, it's just classic. The Broncos have given up the fewest plays for 20-plus yards of any defense in the NFL. You have to dink and dunk against them. Well, we're actually very good at dinking and dunking as an offense as well. The problem is you still got to execute. You got to call the right dink and dunks. You got to execute the dink and dunks. The details matter. And the details right now aren't being executed by anybody right now. Kenny G did good. The D-line is currently over-pursuing. Uncle Vic has increased his blitzes, so we get a little deeper, making holes for opponents' running games. Yeah, look, the defense, it's crazy. The defense is great. Quinion Mitchell, phenomenal. Cooper Dejean, elite. Zach Bond, Jihaad Campbell, we know how great they are already. Jordan Davis has kind of settled down as, popping off the pages, popping on the screen, the last week or so. Jalen Carter hasn't been healthy either. Now you lose more depth on the edge rush position. Going up against an offense that had over 300 yards of passing and almost 200 yards of rushing last week, right? The Broncos. 185 yards rushing, 320 yards passing, something like that. They got to be better. And Vic Fangio said that. And I'm going to tell you. Now, Vic Fangio said it's either going to be this week or next week that Nakobe Dean's practice window's open. But when Nakobe Dean comes back, if he comes back, you are going to see you're going to see three linebackers on the field at the same time, because you're going to be moving either Bond or Campbell to the outside to help the pass rush and help the run defense. You're going to see it. Nakobe Dean's not going to play 50, 60 snaps a game, but you're going to see him out there at first. He also did talk about how you're going to see more Kelee Ringo, that he said he did good, he could do better, and the big test for Kelee Ringo is how he improves. He only gave up 1 catch for 8 yards on Sunday, by the way. Vic Fangio also made fun of field goal kicking, that they changed the balls for kickers, and that's why we're seeing so many 70-yard kicks down the field and stuff like that. Joe Flacco benched. Good, I guess. Who cares? Was it on the Phillies special podcast? I know Sheil was going on about how AJ, I don't remember. I watched a lot of YouTube yesterday. I was bouncing from show to show and podcast to podcast, but I saw somebody talking about it yesterday. I got to do better at taking notes when I hear other people make comments. I take notes when I write down stats from tweets. Like I got Anthony DeBona stats written down here, Shane Haas stats written down here, but I don't write down enough notes when I'm listening to other shows. Definitely one of my weaknesses. See, I know how to address my weaknesses, Anthony. I got to remember where I get my information from. What's up, Dante? Last Sunday, last game, Saquon clearly gets injured in a run play. What does Patullo do? Run the ball. Dante, I've been talking about that all week. It's definitely a problem. You don't just run them again right after that. Pine Barrens overrated. It's a great quotable episode, but I'm not. I don't know. I think any show or any episode that had too much Paulie and too much Chrissy in it, I hated Chrissy the character. I really did. I was not a Christopher Moltisanti character. They should have killed him off sooner. And Paulie, to me, I think is one of the most cool, funny, but I was not a Paulie guy. Like little tidbits of Paulie in an episode, great. But Paulie, big episodes, not my favorite. Because Uche ain't a run stopper, and he is forced into duty. They don't have an edge that can really, truly stop the run right now. Yeah, that's right. We've got 13 likes. There should be way more than 13 likes on this video right now. There's 16 people watching. There's 15 votes on the poll. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. It literally, not only does it only take 2 seconds, it's free. What else are you going to do today, James? It's free, right? They definitely need to clean up the penalties and get better. Look, that hurts them too. Undisciplined penalties keeps the defense on the field. Stops the offense from getting into a rhythm, right? Tyler Shote got to play 7 years in college. What? I don't know. Only if tackling becomes an issue would I be excessively concerned about the D. You're right about blank, though, on the watch party. That long touchdown was on him. He went for the glory. Yeah, look, it was definitely on him. And that's what you get. You get great leadership from Reed Blankenship. You get some big playmaking from him, but you also get mistakes. You got to understand what Reed Blankenship is. Reed Blankenship's a solid player. Never going to be the best player on the defense. Never going to be the worst player on the defense. What's up, Reality Check? Good morning. Welcome to the show today. Uncle Vic is right about the preseason kicking ball. Yeah, they're doing something different. He was like, oh, that dude from Dallas is going to hit a 75-yarder. It also changes the way he talked. The reason why he talked about it is because it changes the way you play defense. Because no longer stopping a team at the 48-yard line means they're going to go for it on 4th and 4 or try to pin you down on a punt. 48-yard line, you're kicking the field goal at this point. It's kind of crazy. And I have noticed that these kickers are hitting the ball longer and further regularly. 60-yard field goals with room to spare. It's crazy. Flacco got benched. Yeah, we already talked about that briefly. What's up, Mitchie Poo? Good morning to you. Paulie Walnuts carried that show. Stop. Paulie Walnuts, the actor, Gutierrez, or what that's Paulie Walnuts' real last name, Paulie Gutierrez. He had something in his contract. He would only take the role of Paulie Walnuts, Paulie Gutierrez, if he was never written in as a rat, because he was actually a made guy in a previous life. Don't care about huge news. I'm sorry, Joe Flacco is not huge news, okay? Who cares about that? If I had told you before the season that the Eagles would be 4-0 with wins against 3 teams in the top 6 of the power rankings, would you have believed that everyone would be down on the berth? I agree. I hear it. I mean, I look at the record of all these teams that we've beaten. The Chiefs, 2-1 other than against us. The Rams only have 1 loss against us. The Buccaneers only have 1 loss against us. The Cowboys only have 1 loss, not against us. We're going up against great teams. And we're beating them, right? It might be. You never know. You never know what the StreamYard's going to say. Dodgers put Kershaw and Sheehan in the bullpen. That concerns me. Maybe we can get to, I don't know. I'm worried about the Dodgers. Us after a week off, them staying in shape. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about the Dodgers. They're a damn good baseball team with a huge payroll of a lot of stars. I think the Phillies are as good as them, but the Phillies can't take any games off in a 5-game series. I called that Blankenship failed during the watch party. I mean, it was obvious, right? Duck in the Heezy, has been. Are they going to sign Blankenship? My source said that like 4 weeks ago. I don't know. I don't know when that's going to happen. He is, Aubrey, the best kicker in football right now. I've been calling Blankenship on his playing style and lacking talent to play. I know. I haven't disagreed with you at all. He said they are not wiping off the balls like they were before. And he said the baseballs were different back when McGuire and Sosa and Bond. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Sophie, good morning to you. Sophia, Dodgers stink. I mean, they are tied with the Phillies for the best odds at plus 450 to win the World Series. So the sports books think it's either the Phillies or the Dodgers that are going to win the World Series. So I don't know if they stink. I do not see a 3-game sweep for either team coming either. Dodgers are becoming the Cowboys of baseball. Well, they've won within the last 35 years, so they're not quite to the Cowboys level. So I wouldn't say that. They're hateable like the Cowboys. Their fans, the few that they have, are hateable like the Cowboys, but they're not the Cowboys. Sports books drink too much. Well, us degenerate gamblers drink too much as well. For sure. No doubt that. Guys, continue doing the things you need to do. Like, subscribe, share, vote on the poll question. Do you honestly believe that the Eagles, as they are, is good enough to win another Super Bowl? Yes, no, barely. Yes is at 73%, barely at 20%, no at 7%. Okay, they're hateable like them. Yes, absolutely agree. Heard I had done dude hit 60. Cal Riley hit 60, yes. I don't know what he'd done dude actually means, but Red Sox Phillies World Series, that would be a fun fan base battle for sure, Adam. That would be. I'm still rooting for Phillies Tigers so that me and Jason from Fairway to Heaven could go one-on-one all series long, but that's it. I think we lose the Ohtani pitched games without a good amount of bad umping and luck. Dodgers have won in 20 and 24. They were becoming the Cowboys, but yeah, that exactly. I think he just meant the fan base wise for sure. And Yankees fans are also, Yankees fans have always been off also. Heard some dude. All right. You blame autocorrect a lot for your comments. You might want to pay attention. Yankees are the absolute worst. Tell Jason go to Michigan. Yeah, absolutely. Go Wolverines, right? Has been tailgating a little early this week because his Bills are also 4-0. Yeah, I mean, look. The Eagles are still 4-0. Okay? It is okay to be critical, but I think we've got to understand for as much bad, there is still plenty of good. Okay? No doubt about it. I see this comment, and I just want to say, I can't believe it feels like the Shohei Ohtani gambling thing was years ago. It was literally the beginning of the season. Am I right? Like, I can't believe that was so long ago, but not that long ago, and that baseball did such a good job of sweeping that under the rug so quickly. It's kind of crazy. It's not, but it is. I blame autocorrect for all my bad takes. Okay, gotcha. Bills D is garbage. I'll worry about that week 17. I think we all know that Ohtani has a gambling problem. Ohtani just has he can do whatever he wants problem, okay? Because he's got almost $1 billion sitting in his bank account. Gold, Jerry, gold. Look at you dropping a Seinfeld quote. Look at you. What's the deal with Ovaltine? Anyway, back on point here. Let's get back to the Eagles. Let's get back to the Phillies here. What they need to do this week. Obviously also, we know the Big O on IR. Long snapper Charlie Hewlett has gone on IR. Just so you guys know, the Eagles did sign long snapper, veteran guy, Cal Adamitis. Played with Pittsburgh, I think, most recently. So there's going to be some concerns with the snap on kicks and punts maybe this week. So there's that also to think about. I am from an order of Knights of the Content. Good. His dog seems like a punk too. And you want to be my latex salesman? I don't know. The wife loves the Ovaltine in the fall and winter. Yeah, it's a Seinfeld joke, the Ovaltine stuff. Yeah. I'm waiting for the day I get a Phillies short. What? I do Philly shorts all the time. I love that the Yankees always keep Aaron Boone. his by-the-book BS blows up in their face in October. When was the last time the Yankees even went? When was the last time the Yankees even were in a World Series? I don't know. We also got Jim Nantz and Tony Romo on the CBS call this week. You know, I'm looking at my notes here that I took, and I forgot to bring this one up. The offense has been bad, right? The Eagles' offense has not been effective, right? The play calling has not been good. The execution has not been good. A.J. Brown, I don't even know who was in the World Series last year, honestly. I don't. A.J. Brown is not happy. Saquon Barkley, not effective, right? But for as bad as it is, do you know, would you think I was lying if I told you that Jalen Hurts each week has a higher quarterback rating than his quarterback opponent? Jalen Hurts in week 1, 94.2 quarterback rating. Dak Prescott, 76.6. Week 2, Jalen Hurts quarterback rating, 78. Patrick Mahomes, 72.1. Week 3, Jalen Hurts, 117.5 rating. Matthew Stafford, 82.4. Last week, Jalen Hurts, 104.5. Baker Mayfield, 84.2. So how bad has the offense really been? If Jalen Hurts is still putting up 90, 100 quarterback ratings, doing his job, they're still, while they're not as effective as we want, is it really as bad as we think it is? Is it really, as Kevin Patullo tries to word salad us, one or two plays do differently, execute differently, and everything's a different story? A.J. Brown gets hit deep once or twice. The story's different. Is it really that small of a window of it going from being bad to good? Yankees lost in the World Series last year, dude. I don't remember. I don't. Because the last couple of years, because of the Phillies collapses, I have not watched any playoff baseball the last 3 years after the Phillies are out of it. I haven't. I don't mind Jim Nantz and Tony. I prepare when I want Romo. Yeah, I don't have a problem with him. I think Tony Romo gets unnecessary hate for his announcing. He's pretty solid. No, he's not embarrassingly bad. He's solid. He's very solid for his stuff. He's gotten a little annoying. He was really annoying when he first started. He got better, and then he kind of plateaued a little bit. Because Hurts doesn't turn over the ball and get touchdowns. He keeps forcing them to AJ, and that will change fast. Again, we've been over the turnover numbers. Okay? You win football games with keys. Red zone efficiency. Eagles are 100%. Third down stops. They held the Buccaneers to 3 out of 17 on third downs. And you'll win the turnover battle. And they've won the turnover battle every single week. The Eagles have 1 turnover on offense the entire year. Romo knew what he studied for right before retirement. I don't know if he still studies. I don't know. Tony Romo's also very good golfer-wise. He's a strong golfer. Short-term memory loss, Phil. What? I have major short-term memory loss. Dude, I just ate breakfast. I don't even remember what I had. Romo studies when he wants to. Other than that, he just takes notes from his staff. I mean, if you have a staff to do it, great. I'd love a staff to give me notes for this show. Romo doesn't even finish a sentence half the time. He just talks off. He's awful. Honestly, I haven't heard him this year yet, so we'll see if he's gotten worse this year. So wild card is best of 3. That's what I said. Phillies are top 4. They're number 1 in the odds. Brock Purdy has played 2 games and already has 5 turnovers. Yeah, look at around the NFL, Anthony. Look at some of the teams that just lost last week and how many of them lost on late turnovers. I think the Cardinals had a turnover late in the game. We know the Chargers had a turnover late in the game. You turn the ball over, you lose. The Eagles don't do that. Hence why they're 4-0. Hence why Jalen Hurts is outplaying every quarterback he faces. You don't remember the Judge dropping the ball that cascaded into a nightmare inning? No, I don't. I don't actually. That silly weed can give you short-term memory loss. Well, it helps me sleep at night. So, yes to the poll. Dodgers are the NL team, followed by Milwaukee, then Phillies. Seattle, cream of the crop in the AL. Then Toronto. Sean Payton will teach Nick and Kevin on how to get receivers. I think yes to the poll. I agree with the yes. Dodgers are the top team. I am concerned with facing the Dodgers. I think Phillies are better than Milwaukee. I don't know about Seattle. Maybe. Sean Payton, it's a really interesting matchup. Sean Payton is a guy I've criticized in the past. it's been like almost 20 years since he's won a Super Bowl, but he's still considered an elite head coach. His play calling versus Kevin Patullo's play calling is going to be a huge matchup. I think coaching-wise, there's a lot of storylines. Obviously, Seattle, or Sean Payton, he said there's connections between him and Vic Fangio from Scranton. And Vic Fangio being a former coach of the Broncos, the last time we faced the Broncos in 2021, there's that little bit of extra, juice there as well. But a lot of interesting stories with the coaches this week. So if you're a good golfer, it redeems you. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just a random tidbit, K1. It was just a random note. Who's better at golf? Romo's better. Even with Charles Barkley's improvements. Tony Romo's almost qualified for the U.S. Open a few times. I know he tries every year, and I think like 2 or 3 years ago, I think he missed qualifying for by a stroke. He's actually gotten sponsor exempts to play in PGA Tour events and almost made the cut in some of them. Phil did way too many gummies. You forgot already. I said you did too many gummies. Gotcha. You're funny. Purdy isn't ready to play again, but didn't want to get Wally pipped. That might be a regret, that contract that Brock Purdy got from the 49ers. Get receivers open. Well, to get receivers open, you either got to call shorter, quicker routes, Jonathan, or the routes they're calling, the offensive line has to block better. A lot of the play calling overall is very long developing plays, Jonathan. And the offensive line is not holding up in pass protection this year. Plain and simple. If you need 5 seconds to get A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith open down the field, but your offensive line can only block for 2 seconds, well, either you better start calling 2-second plays or something else. Hurts got a bird's eye view of what happened if you start throwing picks and going rogue with Wentz. That's true. That's true. Good morning, Little G. Yes, we're kicking Broncos' butts this week for sure. Howie and Hurts both had that year off to reflect, evaluate, and reinvent themselves. It was basically been good sailing since. It has. Peyton is from the Bill Parcells school. He runs a tight ship, but his tactics are antiquated. Is he from Bill Parcells' school? Is he from the Bill Parcells coaching tree? I did not actually know that part of it. Look, Sean Payton is a well-respected coach. He had a lot of success in his early run. Actually, I shouldn't say a lot. He had good success. He won one. If it comes down to it, is Sean Payton is considered one of the great coaches of all time, or at least in the last 25 years, right? But he's got one Super Bowl. He had Drew Brees, a Hall of Fame quarterback, one Super Bowl almost 20 years ago, right? Was it 2008, 2009? If Nick Sirianni, 10 years from now, 15 years from now, still only has one Super Bowl, will he be considered in the same light as Sean Payton? Probably not. He'll be criticized for fumbling the ball. You could say ass. It's a safe space, yes. Short, quicker routes will open up the field. Absolutely. Because then the defensive line will have to play a little off. 100%. Edibles are BSN. It's a long conversation. We won't get into what I do, when I do it, and how I do it. Rose, just so you know. Guys, we got a lot of people tuning in now late to the show. If you haven't yet, like, subscribe, share. Started today at 716 subscribers. How about them apples? 19 subscribers in the last 2 days. You got to get that number up, guys. Honestly, the biggest factor in the offensive stagnations are the second and longs. You just can't open the playbook as much and go no huddle. Well, there's a big problem. Okay? Second and long is a big problem. And the lack of use of no huddle is a big problem. When the Eagles offense got going in the second half against the Rams, why did they get going? Because they started going no huddle. They started going up tempo. They started putting the ball in Jalen Hurts' hands, right? Got the defense on its heels. We did not do up tempo once last week. Not once. And the offense was stagnant. You know, when it goes stagnant, you don't want to call up tempo, that's fine. But when it gets stagnant, you've got to go that way. And they didn't do it. DMs are always open. They need to put in that extra thought on first down. Absolutely. 2nd and 3 and 2nd and 9 is a big difference on, in the success of an offense. The plays you can call at 2nd and 9 or 2nd and 11 versus the amount of plays you can call off your play sheet at 2nd and 3, huge difference. But they run a lot on first down. The running attack is not there. I mean, Saquon Barkley is in the tops in the league in touches this year, in runs. But he's at the bottom in yards per attempt. Maybe the running game is just not working. Go away from the run game. Let's let Jalen Hurts throw the ball 30, 40 times. Do you know that Jalen Hurts actually has a very high winning percentage when he throws the football more than 30 times a game? He's not as bad as people think. You can put the game on Jalen Hurts' shoulders. And then maybe if you let Jalen Hurts throw 35 times in a game, he wins the football game. The next week, it changes everything. Payton was hired by Parcells in 2003, assistant coach and quarterbacks coach. Oh, there you go. Look at Adam doing the deep dive for me. Muchas gracias, Adam. They had to go no huddle against the Rams because they were weighed down. That had something to do with it. But also I think it was because the offense was struggling. They haven't been going no huddle or RPO, which will open up the game more. There were 1 or 2 RPOs or read options or whatever this past week, and they worked effectively. One of them got Jalen Hurts crushed, which I still don't know how he didn't get a concussion on that play. He probably did, actually. But, yeah, when we were way up, the strategy was to burn the clock and keep the D off the field in 100-degree heat. They didn't keep the D off I think we lost the time of possession last week. So it didn't keep the D off the field. We ran 3 and out so much last week. I don't think the Patullo has the foresight or lack of ego to change, and that will be a problem. My question with Patullo is, does he actually believe that there's nothing wrong? It's just 1 or 2 little tweaks will be fine. What does Patullo believe what he actually says to the media? Or is he just reading off the script that he was given by Nick Sirianni and Howie Roseman? Because I don't believe what he says. And if I don't believe what he says, the players aren't going to believe what he says. I mean, situational football is pretty important, K1. And execution in situational football is very important. The first 2 games were more, we're going to run simple run plays because we think you can't stop us. Arrogance. This past week, I saw more of lack of execution. Yeah. See, the difference between last year and this year, they didn't execute, when the running game wasn't executed, like in the Super Bowl. The offense was moving. This year, they're not executing with the run game, and they're not figuring out a way around it. To be fair, it was hot as hell last week. No huddle would have killed our players. I don't know if it would have killed our players. It would have worn their defense down. Even if you run it a little bit, Dante, it would have worn their defense down even more, which would have opened up more things. Up-tempo gets the defense off balance and tired. Mr. Chet, shameless plug. Who's on Philly Press Box Radio tonight? None other than James Seltzer at 94 WIP and the High Hopes podcast. Live 7 p.m. right here on the STT Sports Network. Guys, make sure you tune in tonight. I'm assuming that Chet will be doing a lot of Phillies playoff baseball chit chat tonight. So, guys, make sure you check in right here, 7 p.m. with Chet, Bill Furman. Look, I get it. It was hot. It's hot for both teams. Okay, it wasn't just the Eagles that it was hot for. There was tons of piss poor play calling and lack of adapting to changes made on the defensive side. Look, the play calling was bad. Has been bad. I don't think there's been good play calling all year. The players still got to execute it, right? My question is, how long does this go on? I don't think you can make that drastic change 4 weeks into a season. But how long does it go on before something changes? I gave you guys the information yesterday. Our quarterbacks coach, Scott Leffler, from Bowling Green, has extensive play calling experience. Does Nick Sirianni have the guts to pull the play calling away from Patullo and put it on the quarterback coach? I don't think he does. I think he's too loyal. I hope Nick Sirianni does not become a Doug Peterson and become too loyal to Kevin Patullo, because that could be the downfall of this team. When your O-line is getting its ass beat, there is only so much a play caller could do. Yeah. And how much of it is the offensive line getting beat because of execution? How much of it's they're getting beat because they're hurt, right? So here's the thing. I said this yesterday. I'm going to say it again. Is it insane to say that we should sit Landon Dickerson for 2 or 3 weeks? Is it insane to think that Lane Johnson might need a week off at some point here? I hate load management for Lane Johnson, but you might need to at 36 years old. Landon Dickerson is not healthy. Not at all. You put him on IR for 4 games and then the bye, give him 5 weeks off, maybe all of a sudden the execution on the offensive line is better. I will say that this piss-poor play calling is getting our O-line. So you're blaming the play calling on the offensive line getting hurt. I mean, maybe there is something to it. I don't know. Chet should get Milt Halstead on the show. He was coordinator of officials in college football, but more importantly, he was Andy Reid's big dom. Chet, look into it. Look into it. Doug, you're just a broken record at this point. I get Duck's frustration. I do. I truly understand Duck's frustration. I'm trying to keep a fair opinion on it, but deep down inside, I don't disagree entirely with what he has to say. In fact, I kind of agree with a lot of what he says. I'm trying to keep it more fair, but I kind of agree with him. Patullo is his best friend. He isn't going to stab him in the back year one. Now, the question is, will Howie saying, hey, we need to switch things up? Absolutely. And didn't we go through this same thing with Doug Peterson and what's his name? Doug Peterson's like, no, you fire him, you lose me too, right? Like, I don't want to go that same route. There's friendships and there's business, right? That's the problem with Nepo coaches. You need to make business decisions. You need to put away that loyalty. Didn't have any loyalty for Ben Johnson. Yeah, moved on right away. But am I right, though? You are, to an extent, right. Look, I do not, I give counterpoints to you, but I don't disagree entirely with what you say, Duck. It's easier to blame one guy than to blame the fact that our players are not performing. I think there's equal blame to go around. But, again, while there's good, there's bad, there's also a reason to believe we're 4-0 against 4 damn good fine football teams. Broken record, right? I am right. You're so right you had to put it in capital letters, Duck. Then ask him about how he would have to shuffle girls out of hotels for DJs. Oh, wow. Interesting. We started the show at 7:16, Adam, so we haven't gained any new subscribers today. We woke up at 7:16 this morning. I thought there was talk that Nick wasn't the one pushing for Ben Johnson. That was Howie. Didn't want to lose him since they thought of him as a rising star. I think both were in there. I think they thought he was a rising star. I think his connection to Jalen Hurts is back from high school. I think there are a lot of factors that went into the Ben Johnson promotion, right? The Kevin Patullo one doesn't make sense. I remember going back. I'm trying to think back to when he was hired and the process before he was hired. Like, I remember talking on this show, like, why don't we hear about all these names being interviewed? It was just Kevin Patullo's the guy. We didn't hear about 5 different guys being brought in for interviews. We didn't hear this guy or that guy, right? A quarterback coach from this team or an offensive coordinator from another team. It was just Kevin Patullo, assumed, done, locked. When Kellen Moore was being interviewed, that process the year before, we heard there were a bunch of names that were brought in. This was nothing. It was Kevin Patullo from day one. When you play calling is so bad it gets the O-line defense injured, you're now a threat to the whole team. I'd ask you, what play can you call when your O-line can't block and your running back? That's another thing. It's going under the radar. Is Saquon is supposed to be a great blitz pickup running back, and he's not been good at it this year. I never heard of Patullo until this year, so didn't do much. I mean, I knew he was on the team, and I knew he was part of the coaching staff. Didn't know much about him, but I heard of him, obviously. It's becoming more exponential growth for Phil. It was Y equals MX plus B. Now it's Y equals MX3. What? My math is not very good. So yeah, I don't understand that. The growth has been substantial over the last couple weeks. Saquon was never great at pass protection. He's been awful. Well, the story was he was, okay? The story was that he was good at it coming into last year. So I'm just going off of what I studied, read, and learned, okay? If the Eagles were the good fellas, Patullo would be Billy Bats. Go get your shine box. I don't know if he'd be that. He did his time, comes out and celebrates, and gets whacked 20 seconds into the movie. Maybe. Yeah, I think that might be a bit of a reach from Duck. I mean, Landon Dickerson was hurt before the play calling started, right? Maybe the Eagles made a mistake by letting Landon Dickerson come back so quickly from the knee surgery. I mean, he literally had knee surgery and then 2 weeks later was playing. Now, he was cleared by doctors and whatnot. But maybe that's part of the problem there as well. Right? Maybe. I don't know. Guys, I missed the top of the hour. We're at the hour 6 minutes. It's 9:06 in the morning. Here on October 1st. If you haven't, you're watching Training the AM. Like, share, subscribe, vote in the poll question. Do you honestly believe that the Eagles, as they are, is good enough to win another Super Bowl? Yes, no, barely. Yes, is dominating. No has got 10%, and barely's got 14%. He seriously almost got Hurts killed. That one sack was not on Jordan. Well, Matt Pryor shouldn't have been out there to begin with, is part of it. One person's blaming Patullo for injuries, just one, Rick. But we are trying to get to the root of the problem because we can believe in this team. We can support this team. We can know this team is 4-0, but we can also realize that there are issues that could eventually backfire on us. So I think what we're trying to do is get to the root of why the offense isn't effective as we want it to be right now. Okay? You are the one. And again, you're in caps locks again. I love it. Saquon Barkley needs to get a new prescription of steroids. What? No. There is no negative, okay? There is no negative. You can be positive and still critical at the same time. Being critical and negative are two totally different things. Okay, Rick? And I think you really got to understand this, okay? You got to understand there is concerns on this team. It's not effective because, and I agree. I'm just trying to bring up counterpoints, right? We're going up against a really good Broncos team. Our offensive line has not been tip-top shape this year. This Bronco team leads the league in sacks, quarterback hits, quarterback pressures, right? You think the way we played last week is not going to get Jalen Hurts killed this week? It's going to be tough. We can be critical. The play calling is not effective. We can be critical. Saquon has completely gone the wrong way on pass coverage, and you know Kenny G's ain't missing that pickup. Oh, man. We should be 5-0. I know. Why aren't we 5-0 already, right? That's not negative. Not negative at all. I am preaching all week about positivity, all right? Bring something to the conversation other than just saying we're being negative. We're being critical. There's a difference. There are people, Rick, there are plenty of negativity out there. There is. There's plenty of negativity in the media and stuff like that. This is not negativity, okay? This is an open discussion. Eagles are the best team in football. It is Super Bowl or bust. I agree. I still got them number one in my power rankings, which I didn't download to put up on the screen today. There are efficiencies that needs to be made because playing half-ass will just pile up as the season goes on. Believe what you will, Rick. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Kenny G still should be an Eagle. Oh, man. You mean Will Shipley ain't good enough? Need to see more Shipley. Gives me at least 7 steps out of the backfield. We have not put Shipley on the field. We haven't used A.J. Dillon enough this year either. How can we not be critical when the offense went 0 for 8 for -1 passing yards in the second half? Exactly. We could still be like, damn, yes, we won. This team is still a great team. But we can also be critical because we can know this team could be even better. I said it yesterday, Rick. I'd rather be the Eagles in the Eagles situation than any other team in the NFL. to play substandard football and still be 4-0 means that it could only go up from here. But it also could go down if they don't clean it up. If you don't think there's a single issue on the Eagles team, then I want to know what you're smoking, okay? If you don't think there's one problem on this Eagles team, you need to share with the rest of the class. I do not believe in Joe Hendry. Overhyped. I don't think there's a difference in the fan base criticism at 4-0 and 0-4. No, exactly. Shipley has an ability problem this season, an availability problem. He was also hurt a lot this year so far, yes. There is an issue with every single team in the NFL. Yeah, so bringing up and discussing the issue is not being negative. It's discussions, okay? And it is a glorious time. I'm ready. I mean, Rick will tell you the Sixers will be good. Jared McCain did have his thumb surgery yesterday. They expect to reevaluate him in 3 to 4 weeks. We'll see about that. We want everyone fired after turnover on downs. I mean, I don't want anybody fired, honestly. I don't. I just think people need to be held accountable. I don't know. This conversation was going well. Rick, I love you. But you got to bring something to it's all good and we're being too negative is not helping the conversation. Continue on. Why is everything so great? Why don't we need to be negative outside of 4-0, right? And the sky is not falling at all. I've given loads of stats on all the good and the bad from this team today, all right? And despite it all, we're still 4-0, which is all that matters in the end. It is October 1st, so the September story's over. I want Kyle Lowry gone. Yeah, who doesn't? Sixers are absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're so bad that Jared McCain is purposely, Quentin Grimes is purposely asking for too much money so he doesn't have to play here right now. Ben Saquon for Will Shipley's the name. Stop. Yeah, accountability does not exist. You can't be accountable, right? It's okay to be accountable. I hold myself accountable every day. There isn't. If anyone has ever been on a good team, they would know you're always trying to focus on sharpening the knife. Calling it anything. Exactly. We're just finding out what needs to be sharpened right now, right? The blocking, getting the offensive line healthy, figuring out the run defense up the middle. We're just trying to sharpen the knife here. I've never called for Patullo's job. Exactly. No one has actually called for his job at all. We just got to get him help. Just be patient. It will work out and everyone will be happy. Yeah, I mean, everybody will never be happy as long as the media continues to drive a negative wedge in us, right? Nick should have hired North Turner. North Turner, is he like 80 years old at this point? Anybody remember? And I brought this up plenty. Rick, I've said this like 20 times over the last week, right? It was ugly last year. We were 2-2. This year it's ugly. We're 4-0. Great. But at least we had something to fall back on last year that Kellen Moore had experience. Good and bad experience. Kevin Patullo has no experience to fall back on. That's why we're worried about Kevin Patullo. Negativity does sell for the big mass media. 100%. We should have won 44-6. We should have, right? Yeah, he did get fired from Dallas. Absolutely. But he was there for a while. He had experience, okay? So you're saying Kellen Moore didn't have good experience? He had something to learn from, okay? Kevin Patullo doesn't, okay? And again, I am more than willing. I've been saying it for a week. I am more than willing to give Kevin Patullo till the bye week to figure it out, especially if we continue to keep winning. And despite how bad it is, the stats show that we're still doing just enough. We're winning in the key metrics, the keys to games, okay? It's all that matters. But doesn't mean we can't look at how they could be better. Because if you think this team doesn't have to get better than they already are, again, share with the rest of the crowd. Who is worse through 4 weeks, Brian Johnson or Kevin Patullo? Honestly, I don't know. I mean, we won a lot of games, just like with Kevin Patullo, with Brian Johnson. When was that loss? I mean, we were 10-1 before the collapse in 23, Adam, right? When was that loss? Was that like week 8? I think it was like the Jets game that we lost. It's like week 7 or week 8. So I think they were 6-0 or 8-0 or something like that before the downfall really started there with that team. But I said it yesterday, Adam. This Eagles team is way better than the 23 team. The 2023 collapse should not happen here, right? Because this team is better situated, personnel-wise, coaching-wise, experience-wise. Eagles probably should be scoring at least 70 points per game, especially by this point. I mean, come on, we are in week 4. This offense should be steamrolling by now. All right, so you're exaggerating it, obviously. But, obviously, negative yards in multiple halves of football this year does not mean we can't get better. We should be steamrolling teams. I mean, obviously, we should be winning 70-0 every game, right? And if we don't win 70-0, we can't. Even if we don't win 7-0, we can't control or we can't complain, right? I don't know. I don't know what's going on today. Anyway, we got 15 minutes. Let's keep it going here. We get blown out by the 49ers and Cowboys on consecutive weeks in 23. Yeah, it was after the 10-1. I was just thinking he was bringing in Brian Johnson. We did have like a 6 or 7 or 8-0 record at one point, right? -1 yards. And I mean, 25 or 35 of the yards was on the safety at the end of the game. So I think we had like 30 yards of offense before Braden Mann ran it back to the end zone, just so you know. The collapse would only happen again if surround the team with negativity. So if we just go rah, 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 and pull out our pom-poms, Rick, everything will be fine, right? And that's nonsense, okay? Pom-poms do not equal wins, okay? Can we score? I mean, it would be great, right? Be thankful we don't have the copy of Fangio working the sidelines. Don't have the copy. Yeah, exactly. Sean Desai. We were 8-1 going into the bye, then beat Buffalo and KC, then all downhill from there. Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out the process. When was that first loss? I know it was the Jets that we lost to. The collapse happened because we couldn't stop anyone from Bradbury, Morrow. Exactly. And because of that, we don't have Bradbury. We don't have Morrow. We don't have Zach Cunningham. You know, this team is better situated to not let that happen, okay? To not let that happen. We were critical at times last year. We were critical through 4 weeks. And then they figured it out, right? So we can be critical and still cheer our team on. I don't understand, Rick, why you mistake discussing and being critical as negativity. It really quite annoys me, all right? Me saying that the Eagles suck or me saying the Eagles aren't going anywhere, me saying the Eagles need to fire this guy or bench that guy, that's negativity. Dissecting what works and doesn't work is not negativity, okay? The Eagles are Care Bears. I remember watching Care Bears. I had a younger sister. I watched Care Bears. We lost to the Jets on that Swift. That's right. It was the Swift fumble. I forgot about that. But I did remember. It was a close game, too, right? Low-scoring, close game. And I agree. We are in a glorious time. We've even talked Phillies. I've even mentioned the Union with a chance to win the Supporters Shield this weekend today. You know? I had to look at my notes to remember it was called the Supporters Shield. That's how much I know. What performance-enhancing drugs do you take to outperform your competitors at the restaurant business? I don't know. I don't take any performance-enhancing drugs. My drugs lower my performance level. They feed off love. Yes, love is the answer to all. Like you always say, Phil, Sirianni and Hurts will not let this team lose more. Exactly. Even if they lost this week, it's not the end of the world because Sirianni and Hurts will always lead this team to overcome adversity, okay? Because it's all about love, you know? They shoot those things out of their chest. I forget what they were called. And it just brings everybody to love and rainbows and flowers, right? Care Bears were all about love, you know? We lost to the Jets because 3rd and 5 with the Jets not having a timeout. Jalen threw a pick 6. If I'm getting on your nerves, then you might need a little wake and bake. Look, I'm just trying to tell you that I think you are aligned to what this show is about, having a conversation, okay? Not bashing. We're not 94 WIP. We're not the fanatic. We're not rage bait. We're discussing, okay? I do take performance-diminishing drugs every night, and I mix it with vodka normally too. Bottom line is this isn't the 23 defense. You can cover for other DC sometimes winning the chess match with this team. Yeah, and this defense can cover for the offense to an extent as well, because despite the problems on defense, the defense has still performed when it matters most. They've come up with the turnovers when it matters most. And that's all that matters, right? Look, we've come away with 4 wins in 4 damn tough football games against 4 damn good teams, 2 or 3 of which have a chance of getting to the Super Bowl. Okay? So when brass taxes are on the table, this team is 4-0. And that's all that matters, right? And they've showed this unbridled enthusiasm to be able to win despite playing their best football. And that's good, and you can build on that. But it would be nice to have one game where it goes a little well, and we don't have to stress out about it for the entire game. It would be nice to see a complete 60 minutes from our football team. It would be nice to see a complete 60 minutes from our offense, okay? It would be nice to see Saquon Barkley not get hit behind the line of scrimmage every time he runs. I just vibrate at a different frequency than most of y'all, not all of y'all, but some of y'all. You vibrate at your frequency. I mean, that's fine. Feel the way you feel. You're allowed to feel how you feel. I just don't think you've brought anything to the conversation today. Tell me why you think it's all sunshine and rainbows. Why everything will just be okay, other than, well, it's our preseason. They have to stop with the taunting penalty. Huge thing. And I brought this up before. The lack of veteran experience and leadership on the defense causes some immature plays on defense. Defense can cover because it has a vet DC with decades of experience. Our OC has never called a play. It's malpractice. Look, I said it earlier. He's getting on-the-job training. When you're trying to win a Super Bowl, when you think you're going to win a Super Bowl, not blindly think, really, truly, legitly think, one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl, you don't get a guy that's got no experience without having a backup plan ready to go. We shouldn't have to mentor a guy while trying to win a Super Bowl. Oh, it's 100% out of control, okay? They're taking the fun out of football 1,000%, okay? Taking the fun out of football. Big time. I will never blame another human for taunting. Dude, I taunt literally all day, every day. Yeah, you do get me worked up because you don't actually bring anything to the conversation. What you bring to the conversation today is just nonsense. Okay? Look, we disagree far too frequently. We agree sometimes. But look, calling us negative when we're discussing not being negative, I think it's just nonsense. You just want to come here and rile people up for shits and giggles. Honestly, I really think that's what Rick does. I think Rick just comes to the chat just to stir the pot because he's sitting there in his computer right now, laughing his ass off right now, thinking he lives rent-free in our head when he doesn't. All Dejean did. See, now here's a great question, okay? Any chance the league is targeting it in against the Eagles because they couldn't get the... you're bringing something to the conversation. Yes, I think there's something to that. I also think the league as a whole is trying to stop the taunting, and I don't know why. I get if you want to focus on player safety, right? Personal fouls and stuff like that, Rick. But taking the fun out of the game? Now, I don't know if this is true. I read this a while ago, that the amount of kids that are signing up for football to learn how to play the game is down over the last 5 or 10 years. Less kids are going to football, more going to other sports. Is that because of the injury issues, right? Or because it's not a fun sport to play anymore? There's a little bit to that. But on the targeting the Eagles specifically, I absolutely think it is. Absolutely. My head is very... What? VRBO for other chatters. What? I don't even know what's going on here. Speaking of which, Rick, it's the first of the month. It is the first of the month. Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month. I can't believe it's October 1st, guys. On a positive note, we got 5 minutes left. I can't believe it's October 1st. We're 3 days away from Phillies playoff baseball. We'll dive into the Phillies a little bit more tomorrow because Friday will be Football Friday, obviously, predicting the Eagles game. But we will start diving in, right? I know I have one customer, Rick, first of the month to about the 8th of the month. I hear from them every single day. And then I don't hear from them again for the rest of the month. I'm sure at the bar you've got the same thing. I got that happen. I know for a fact one delivery that will come in today because it's the first of the month, right? Because they get their food stamps in, right? The EBT card gets loaded today. It's in the NFL's best interest to cover up the truth about the hand injuries. Well, I mean, they covered up that Jalen Hurts got a concussion last week, right? I still, to this point, cannot imagine a world where Jalen Hurts did not have a concussion in last week's game. And honestly, does that play into how he performed in the second half? Does the fact that Jalen Hurts looked wobbly kind of have anything to do with how he performed? I think there's something to that. There might be. There might be something to that. I don't think it's a crazy, crazy conspiracy theory there. Dude's head bounced off the ground and hard. It wasn't a personal foul. They didn't make contact to his head. But he did lower his shoulder or elbow into the guy's, tried to hit him in the head. Just got his shoulder. Almost McKee time. Stop. Now there's negativity right there. And where did you get your neuropsych? I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Okay, one, if you want a really relevant joke and reference, I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so now I could do that, okay? Somebody said that some reporter said that he did briefly, after the drive, go to the tent, but was out of it very quickly, okay? I think Hurts' concussion might be why he didn't push harder on Patullo and seemed like he was taking orders. Like there's something off. Is it almost time? No. Ken McKee only just last week got himself back to being quarterback too. I don't know if that hand is fully healthy yet, but it's not. You're not ever going to bench Jalen Hurts, okay? Because AJ Love, does he? How do you know that? They've got a lot of reps together, don't they? You probably think AJ Brown's cryptic message is directed towards Jalen Hurts, right? Supposedly it's directed at somebody. We don't know who. I think Jalen Hurts or AJ Brown is just a whole nothing burger in that conversation. Well, I mean, so in that aspect, I don't know if they should or not, but I'm shocked they didn't. Oh man, I have no problems. I have no problem with Tanner McKee. I really don't. No problem with him whatsoever. Oh, the cryptic message was towards me. Gotcha. The guy that's saying that it's no big deal is really trash talking me. Gotcha. Oh my God. Why do I do this every day? Why? Why do I come here every day? That's what I want to know. I mean, what would my life be like without doing this every day? I, too, would like to see some McKee when we are really up. But you got to get up really up to do that, right? There is a whole subculture of McKeesters awaiting. There is. It's 100%. And it's comical. Anyway, I am still shocked that we didn't see McKee because Hurts was clearly concussed. You could see the way he stood up. You could see the way he wobbled. You could see the way he played. His eyes, you could see it. If I could see it, you could see it. The neurologist could see it. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. We didn't gain any subscribers today during the show. We gained 2 or 3 during the show and 5 to 10 after the show with the shorts. No new subscribers today. We did have a lot in the last 24, 48 hours, though. So what happens to McKeesters when he's on another team next year? I mean, they change their team. They're going to buy McKeester jerseys for the other team, right? It's going to be, right? You don't think the Saints are upset that they didn't do it? I mean, I see John Cena all the time. Can't wait to Whatever. Deuces, Rick. Bubbles up to you, my man. We're bubbles up to everybody. We got to wrap this up anyway. It's time to get to work anyway. Tomorrow we'll get into the Phillies playoffs a little bit more. We'll continue talking Eagles. We'll know about the practice report and stuff like that. Thank you, Adam. McKee will be reunited with Kenny G. Maybe. That's actually a good spot for him out there in Pittsburgh. I can't wait until McKee is struggling with a new team next year. Oh, man, guys. Anyway, I could care less what McKee does next year. Stains can wait a year and get Manning or McKee for about the same price. Yeah. Anyway, I got to wrap it up. We'll get back to this tomorrow. More positivity tomorrow. We'll talk Phillies, more Eagles. We'll get a practice report today. We'll hear from Nick Sirianni again. Maybe we'll learn something else. Who knows what'll be on tomorrow. But, guys, I got to wrap it up. Everybody have a great October 1st. Go Birds. Bubbles up.